Hey cuties, it's your girl Tana Too Cute. So I am coming to y'all more so on a serious note. I wanted to share a couple of clips with you all about this case, Ziyahharris, that was reported missing over a year ago. January the 9th was the last time she was seen. This story was really heartbreaking. Learning all the details that came out in the preliminary trial. And I want to share a few details in my, commentary on it. And I'll also share, where you can find the entire or the full court statements or testimonies. Now, this guy here where we see in the picture also, his name is Jarvis Butts. Yeah, it looked like a butt. He is responsible, for the missing of Naziah and now unalive Ziyahharris. Now, this girl was 13 years old, and at the time she was 12 years old. But, this is a situation where a grown man took advantage of a young girl, and he is 40 and 41 years of age, took advantage of her, manipulated her, controlled her mind, her emotions, just everything about her, to the point where this girl thought that she or he was her bae for life. So I'm just going to first share the first clip here, just kind of giving you a little foundation.
Jarvis Butts in court Friday afternoon. He's the man charged in connection with the homicide of Ziyahharris. The 13-year-old girl disappeared on January 19th. In addition to allegedly sexually assaulting Harris and impregnating her, investigators say he also sexually molested his own daughter. The alleged molestation began when she was under the age of 10. They further allege he sexually assaulted another girl who was under the age of 5 at the time.
She was 4 years old at the time, and she was the daughter of one of Mr. Butt's girlfriends at the time, and we believe her to have contracted chlamydia.
It's disgusting. It's despicable. It's worse than what I thought it was. I've been trying to bring attention to him since 2022, and I did not realize it was this bad.
Bond was
Okay, so you saw that clip there. So that kind of give you a general idea of how disgusting this guy is. And I am going to also share, the grandmother, because the grandmother is what stood out the most to me in all of the testimonies. And I'm still, really getting caught up with all the testimonies. But the grandmother, of course, took Naziah in. Her mom is not in the picture. Her dad is not in the picture. So the grandmother adopted her and took her under her wing. However, the grandmother did not give her or provide her with the attention that she needed for this to have gone on for so long. And the things that was taking place is despicable. Now, I'm a parent, and if you're a parent and you're watching this case, how can this happen? I mean, how can this happen? So I'm upset. I'm upset about it, and it's heartbreaking because this is a minor. She don't know no better. She didn't know any better, and this clown took advantage of her, and the grandmother allowed it. And I'm gonna let y'all hear it and then I'll come back, okay?
And you said that you noticed that she did not come home at her normal time.
Correct.
All right. You did not call the police then, correct?
No. Driving around looking for her. My daughter reached out to some of her classmates. I did nothing. And that morning, I got up, and like I said, I went straight to the school, and from there I was on my way to the police station to make the report, and they called the police from there. DPS police came to the school.
So the first report you made to the police was the next morning?
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time?
School starts at 7:30, so I got there at 7:30. They got there about, I don't know, maybe 8.
So you didn't go to the precinct, you went to the school, and the school called the police?
Yes, they called the police because I was getting ready to leave, and the dean said, no, stay here. She said, and we'll call the police.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you are familiar with Mr. Butts, correct?
I know Mr. Butts.
Okay. And
Okay, so y'all just heard that clip, but that is not the full testimony of the grandmother. I do encourage you all to go and listen to the entire. But here's what the problem is. You're the grandmother. You're the parent, basically, that should have been protecting Naziah. And when Naziah did not come home from school, that was your first sign to act accordingly. But no, y'all see how she is, her testimony is, her answers, she's answering as if she hadn't done anything wrong. She don't see anything wrong with this picture. Now, when Naziah didn't come home, they go around to friends in the neighborhood to see if anybody's seen her. Okay, but nothing about where, going to the mechanic shop where Jarvis Butts supposedly work, and that's where Naziah and a lot of her cousins and the other younger girls would go up there and help him clean his shop. Yeah, okay, that was weird. So she didn't mention anything of that nature. She didn't go up there, so they didn't suspect that at all. All this activity that she's, Naziah had been doing with Jarvis, they didn't notice that at all. So she didn't come home. They go around and look for her, but did not call the police. If my 13-year-old did not come home, I'm calling the police. She wanted to wait until the next day, and then the next day you go straight to the school. You said you went back to the school the same day, and nothing. You didn't see Naziah. So why the hell you would go up there the second day without calling the cops? You allow them to call the cops. When you hear the daughter of the grandmother and testifies, she said she asked her mom, should we call the police? And the mom said no. And they went to bed. You can honestly go to sleep knowing your 13-year-old is out there somewhere and you don't know where she is? Bull crap. Jarvis Butt is not the only person that needs to suffer with some kind of consequences. These adults around Naziah needs to also pay as well. Okay? But anywho, so next, I want to share the judge's ruling, because remember, this is a preliminary hearing to see if it will go to trial. But as we learn, this is going to trial. We don't know exactly when. Hopefully very soon, so Naziah can get the justice that she wants. But let y'all hear a snippet of what the judge ruling, or what she had to share here.
Several people failed her. I don't know where her mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love. I don't know where her father is. I don't have any mention of him in her life, no presence. To Cordell, aka King, and all the men who saw Jarvis Butts hanging out and always around these young girls, including Naziah, and his 9-year-old daughter going up to the shop to clean up his shop. The school counselor who never showed up, or the person who was supposed to show up if that counselor was absent, after Naziah was on the floor on the day she went missing, saying that she needed to speak to someone and speak to a counselor. There's no mention of CPS, but I wonder what their involvement was over the years, because this was not just a one-year thing. There are text messages at least from 2022. To her adoptive grandmother, Annette Harris, whose testimony, in my opinion, was very questionable. I understand why the people put her on the stand to establish Naziah's residence and the houses on Bedford and the regular routine, to establish also that Neziah was not a runaway child, that she was not a bad kid. I do believe she adopted Neziah. I do believe that she had 6 kids in the house. I believe that Neziah had on a dark hoodie the day she went missing, and that she had on red and black Nikes that day. What is hard to believe is that the defendant never came into the house as she testified. And there was also a minor that testified that he did as well. Text messages that show between him and Neziah that he did. In the basement, saying he was going to the shower, stealing her panties. He was always lurking around that house and asking for Janiyah and Zaniyah, from what I know. I even thought about the breakfast routine and saying that all the kids like eating breakfast at school. Did they have a choice? I don't know. But to always send those girls up there to clean up the shop raises questions. And how were there 2 women in that house who have birthed children themselves who did not notice that Neziah was pregnant, and I believe she was, and not having her period anymore? But then after hearing text messages today, begging Jarvis for pads as if she didn't have anyone else to give them for her. And what stood out the most was when Annette Harris stood on the stand, and she learned around 6 p.m. that Neziah did not come home from school, and said she looked around for her and decided to wait until the next morning to call the police. Without a tear, without emotion, or any expression of being devastated. And to her Aunt Shannon, who also showed no emotion, expression of being devastated from Neziah going missing. She stated that she had friends help look for Neziah, but was directed to just wait until the morning to call the police. A grown woman who likely suspected something strange going on didn't feel the need to call the police either.
All right, so you heard the judge, and she was spot on in her observation because, we all was thinking it. Jarvis Butts is the monster. Her grandmother, she's a monster because she failed her. The auntie, she is a monster. All the people, the surrounding people, was the monster, if you ask me. Now, I'm going to speak more so from a parent standpoint. And if you a parent, can y'all tell me how can this happen? I know our kids are, not always in our, view. They're not always around us, and we may not know everything, can control everything when they're, not with us. However, if we are laying some foundation, letting our kids know, assuring them that we love them and they can talk to us about anything, and we're telling them right from wrong, we're showing them what things to be cautious of, what's not right versus what's right. How can this happen? We have to take accountability as parents. Yeah, go through the phones, Absolutely. They might not like it, but we are the ones that's going to be held responsible for what happens to them. Okay? Go through the phones, and be that overbearing parent sometimes. Sometimes we have to do it. How can this happen? Based on the testimonies that I've, pretty much heard, they didn't even try. It was too much flexibility there. In the same house, y'all. These things was happening under their noses. Okay? Ain't no way. My 13-year-old child, gonna be in the same house as me, and I don't know what's going on. Y'all, I wanted to raise awareness about this case. I don't know how I missed this when it initially started rolling out, but we need justice for Neziah. And I do encourage y'all to go out and, review, look at all the cases. The YouTubers out here, they've done a really good job in sharing, the information about this. And I will, in my description, I will post where you can see all of the testimonies as well. Listen, watch your kids. Okay? Y'all like this video? Hit subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Am I, would I be considered, that overprotective parent? I'll be overprotective over losing my child. Y'all have a good day on purpose. Bye.